Yeah, DeFi is like, imagine if you were like, they use farming analogies, right? Because you literally are like giving away stuff or borrowing and lending things and rotating crops, which are your coins. Like if imagine you were a farmer and I mean, this is just going to be in the replay, so this isn't part of the course or whatever. Imagine if you were a farmer and the farmer next door needed to borrow some apples from you, right? Because you've got an excess crop of apples. So he needs 100 apples to make his quota for sale at the market. So you lend him 100 apples, and you basically say, pay me back with 20 extra apples after a month, right? So he goes off, he can sell those apples in the market or whatever. And at the same time, maybe he makes some apple juice out of it, right? And after the months passed, he goes and pays you back your 120 apples, plus a little bit of apple juice, which is like another token that's been minted, or another fee, another cryptocurrency, whatever you want to define it as. That's kind of what the yield farming is about. Like you're putting your crypto somewhere else and providing liquidity for that person to do what they do, and then when you get it back, you get the interest and the additional yield, I'd say, of the apple juice that you can also sell in the market. So not only do you have 20 extra apples, but you've also got apple juice, which means it's more profit for you to make. And then on the gas side of things, so imagine you're now in a village, I don't know, with 50 farmers, and you're all going down a highway trying to get to the market. Who's going to get to the market first to sell their apples? There's a fast lane where if you pay, an extra amount to get through the fast lane, an extra amount like a toll, then you can get to the market quicker. Your transaction gets processed quicker, or you can choose to stay in the slow lanes and just get to the market whenever. That's kind of what the gas fees are. On a sliding scale, you can sort of go, yeah, cool, no worries. I don't want to spend too much on the toll, so I'll stay in the slow lane with everyone else, or I'll pay extra gas fees and get the transaction processed quicker. So maybe that analogy might help some people.
Fast lane, medium lane, slow lane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you can choose, like in Ethereum, you can choose to pay 0 fees, but your transaction might take a couple of minutes or a couple of hours, depending on transaction.
Yeah, depending on what you want to do. Cool. Wow, Taylor, it looks like it's got super dark there. That didn't take long, did it? Good old Canada. Winter. Crazy.
Yeah, it's also Friday night.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Of course, yes. Well, we're in the middle of the day here. Cool.
Cool. Well,
all right. Well, let's get started.
So the next part that we're going to go through is.
By the way, I thought that you and me were nerds, Kevin. Taylor is a Friday night. Taylor's learning DeFi and crypto on a Friday night.
That's awesome. That's what we do too.
That's gold. You can be part of our nerd
club. Okay, so we're going to go through how can we grow and protect your crypto. So Paul mentioned Bankless, and if you go to the Bankless HQ website, the first thing they talk about is this skill cube, and I wanted to touch on this a little bit because basically the way I see it is it's like a map, of the financial instruments of the financial space that. It's what the banks use, right? But then you can apply it to yourself in the crypto world. And the main objectives with this is to maximize your crypto wealth and become what they say on the website, a bankless Jedi. And it's about maximizing crypto wealth, not your fiat or not your cash wealth or anything like that. So where it says money, think of crypto being your money there, not your US or Aussie dollars or what have you. I won't go into too much detail, but those little tabs at the top are basically what we just went through in the previous hour or so of the ways that you can make money using the particular protocols. And then that's all stored in your wallets, which are in between, like sandwiched in between there. And then obviously there's also taxes and security to think about on the side. So I won't go into too much detail, but it's really important to sort of, now that we've gone through all these things, maybe have that picture in your mind, and then map out, what you would like to do in those spaces. Initially it could just be hodling, but then you might go, okay, lending and borrowing isn't for me, but hey, the staking thing might look like a good thing, or investing or earning, So yeah, those are the main categories anyway. I won't go too much more.
This is about, like what we're saying, guys, is like, and what we keep going and referring to, this is about you becoming your own bank and having control over your own money. Now, this is very, very foreign because none of us experience this in our lives, and we're certainly not taught this. So this is all new experiences, but you can be your own bank and make money through all these protocols that we've spoken about.
Yeah, it's you sort of have to give yourself some leeway as well, and these are the systems that the banks have been using for years, and you've got big departments and staff and blah blah blah. So you're not going to learn all this overnight and become like a millionaire from any one particular strategy, but at least the power is in your hands to go and try these things, and over the course of a couple of weeks to a couple of months, learn to master certain sections that you like, and as we keep repeating, be your own bank. Now, trading is one of the most active ways to obviously earn profit in the space. And we'll go through that tomorrow, but I just wanted to highlight that, we're in this module, we're talking about how to grow and how to protect, right? So trading is probably the fastest way to grow that, if you're active in that. And as Paul also mentioned, in terms of protecting your assets, your crypto assets, you can turn to stable coins. So we'll touch on that a little bit more tomorrow, but essentially when the price of Bitcoin or crypto is going up, you want to be riding that wave, and then when it's going down in the market, you could convert to stable coins to make sure that you're not losing value in what you're holding. And so that's what those different coins are. These are all basically tethered to the US dollar or pegged to the US dollar, and backed by different types of collateral. Okay, when we're talking about protection and growing what you have, there's a little acronym here that could come in handy where you basically build your armor around you. And it's five simple sort of protocols to remember. And the first one is allocating your assets or segmenting your soldiers. I like alliteration, so that's why I kind of made it like that. So when you've got a whole bunch of assets or cryptocurrencies, whether you have 1 or 2 or 5 or 50.
Sorry, Kev. There's like a black thick line through the middle of your slide. I don't know if that's showing up on everyone else's screen, but it seems like it is. Oh, there we go. It's got thinner now. Can you see that on your screen? There's no black line through the middle of it?
No.
No, okay.
I'll
maybe just go back one slide and then go. No, that's okay now. It's only a really thin line now, so that's fine.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's my cable. Is it still there?
Yeah, it is, but that's fine. It's a lot smaller now. Before it was taking up nearly the whole screen.
Oh, okay.
You guys can see that slide okay? Yeah, okay, cool. It's just got like a thin line through allocate your assets, which is really weird. I don't know what that is, but
it might be my cable. I don't know, but I can see it fine here. But yeah, allocate your assets or segment your soldiers. So, think about it. If you're going into war, say, you have to think tactically and strategically on where to place each of your soldiers or each of your dollars on the battlefield, right? You're never going to put all your soldiers at the front in the firing line. And so you have to think the same thing about your assets or your finances, your crypto, whatever. Separate them separate your income in investments into buckets, basically. And I don't know if any of you have ever done this exercise, but really simple thing is to think of, 3 buckets. And in bucket 1, you sort of think of what do you need right now. Bucket 2 is what do you need soon. Soon could be, the next couple of days or next couple of weeks or months. And later is like later on in life. What are you going to need to allocate for to, save for a rainy day? Another way you can sort of draw that out is by going, okay, what do you need now? So what's safe and liquid? Like, what do you need to cover your groceries, your rent, your everyday expenses, and then what will you need for, maybe in a month's time, you've got an electricity bill to pay, or in 3 months' time, little Johnny's school fees or something like that. You might be saving up for a holiday when travel restrictions lift or something. And then later on is like, okay, in retirement or for a trust fund for your kids or that kind of thing, that's what you'd put in the later bucket. And it's different for everyone, but it's definitely something to think of when you first venture into this space, like similar to what we spoke about with, putting the money in front of you and literally going, hey, will I miss this or not? It's a similar kind of thing. Like you might say, okay, I've got $1,000 to put into this space. I'm going to put 50% of that in crypto, like buying Bitcoin and holding it for later. And I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to touch it for the next 3 years, for the next 5 years, whatever. I've secured that in the later bucket. 25% of it, I'll put it in the soon bucket. I'll just see if it grows for 3 months or for a year. Maybe put it into, a DeFi kind of thing, or like a high interest yield account. And then the now stuff might be, okay, the other 25%, I'm going to start trading or get into yield farming as well, and experimenting with other things. So that's up to everyone to sort of allocate. But
and once again, this is all about percentages, guys, right? So everyone's situation's totally different. So there could be someone who is like, cool, I want to put in my now fund 80%, right? Because I believe that in X, Y, and Z project, and I believe that, I'm a massive believer of yield farming or staking or whatever it may be, and I want to keep that liquid and I want to, get assets right now, and I'm only going to leave 10% in the long-term thing. We would strongly advise against that, but everyone's situations are different, right? And everyone's lifestyle is different and everyone does different things. So this is just a matter of, segmenting them and then once you've segmented them, stick to it, right? Don't go start picking out of other ones. Oh, I know I've got 80% in now, but I've just run out of that, so I'm going to start picking it out of my later one as well. That's how you end up with nothing. So you've got to have a plan and stick to it.
Yeah, which brings us to protocol number 2, which is remove temptation, or hide the cookie jar. As Troy mentioned, you don't go dipping in to once you've got these buckets. Don't go dipping into them to try and pad up the other one or whatever. Like, stick to your plan. And, the best way to do that is, separate yourself from your profits and don't eat away at them. Don't mix business with personal, say, or don't mix long-term holdings for trading. That's where things like having a Trezor or a Ledger could come in handy, because, the process that you have to go through of having a device, unlocking your PIN and then sticking it in the computer, that might be enough of a deterrent for you to go, okay, maybe I'm not going to take that money out because it's the process is too long. Or if you leave your Trezor at your mum or dad's place or something like that, then it's too much of a drive to go there. So then the temptation is removed for you to try and dip into those long-term funds. Especially when it comes to Bitcoin and things like that. There's an example there. Yeah. Those are very mismatched jars. So, I don't think there's much more else to say on that one. With temptation.
No, it's literally like the things that we said before. So it could come down to you that if you do have a high risk appetite, which it probably applies for more of the males here on the video, because I've usually, and I'm happy to admit this, my wife has a much better budgetary schedule than me and is really good at sticking to plans and things. So if you have that, if you feel that I've done that before and I've dipped into these other things before, like what Kevin said, if you've got it on a Trezor, leave it at your mum's house that's 2 hours away. right? So then if one night you're doing some trading and you're like, oh, I've just done a bad trade and this and that, oh, but I really want to put more money onto this trade, you don't have that temptation of going to your Trezor and withdrawing more of your savings, right? So this is exactly the same as what we do in the old world. I'll talk about the old world. We usually have a debit account. I'm not sure if they call that in Canada, but a debit account, like an everyday account, and then we've got a savings account, right? So we save that for a rainy day, and that's the money that you're saving, long-term savings. We try not to keep dipping into that savings account because that's the growth that we want to have in years, in many years' time. So yeah, if you have that temptation there, then as you are your own bank and you have access to that money really easily, remove the PIN code, right? Physically get that Trezor and remove it somewhere and have it saved somewhere so you never touch that safe money and you only ever use the money that you've allocated to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be the Laszlo that on a Friday night just goes, oh, I think I might spend 10,000
Bitcoin, exactly. now those pizzas are $100 million each, right? Yeah. So, if he had have had that in his saving for a rainy day account, it would be a little bit different.
Yeah. So moving on to protocol 3, it's minimize your risk, or otherwise known as don't take bets you can't recover from. So basically be responsible. Also, it's about setting expectations and not risking more than you can afford to lose is really the main point to take across here. When it comes to trading, there's a particular thing that we follow called the 1%, risk. There's no real strategy for it. It's just called having 1% risk, where you just never risk more than 1% of your account, your total account. That's not a hard and fast rule forever. It's just when you're first starting out, to minimize your losses while you're learning. Like we said earlier, you're going to be making mistakes. So it's better to make mistakes on 1% of your account initially until you get into the hang of things, and then you can go to 2% or 3%. Like even Wall Street professional traders trade somewhere between that range.
Yeah, and this is the mindset thing, guys, that we're talking about. It's not about the amount of money that you're making on each trade or the amount of money that you're making on whatever it is you're doing. It's the percentage. It's all about percentages, because the goal here is that in 5 years' time or whatever it may be for you, a year, 2, 3, whatever, you want to have X amount of crypto and X amount of money that you can withdraw so you can buy that house or do whatever it is that you want to do, right? So you've got to concentrate on the percentage, because if you concentrate on the percentage and the amount that you're going to earn in the next week or the next month, percentage-wise, then that allows you to get into that mindset of compounding interest as well. And compounding interest is that beautiful thing that if you keep that money there and it keeps compounding on top of itself, and you keep making more and adding more to it, then you are going to be able to reach those goals. And we're going to touch a fair bit on compounding interest tomorrow when we talk about trading and trading goals and how amazing, really small amounts, like even $1,000 can turn into millions of dollars within a few years. And that's the kind of thing that that's the kind of mindset we need to shift into.
Exactly. With percentages versus looking at dollars, I think you're able to say remove your emotions as well from the equation, and just keep chasing those percentage gains. Because what can tend to happen is, like, okay, say you've got $100 and you're only risking 1%, so you're putting $1 on the table. If your psychology around it is like, oh, it's only $1, like who cares? If I win or lose, that might not sting you as much, and you'll be willing to lose, okay, $1, $2, $10, whatever, and then you end up losing the $100 if you're not following a trade plan, or you're kind of not really caring. Whereas if you're looking at it from percentage gains, it helps keep you a little bit more disciplined, because when you start trading or investing or whatever in thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you've got $1,000 and you're using 1% of that, all of a sudden your 1% is now $10. if you've got, $10,000, $100,000, $1 million, like when your 1% starts becoming $100,000 worth, then yeah, you got to have some pretty strong like psychology behind you to go, I'm going to put that $100,000 into this particular trade and risk it in order to make 3 times the amount, or 1.5 times the amount, or 5 times the amount.
But it's all about the percentage. It's nothing to do.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're looking at, the percentage is only 1% gain or 2% gain, it helps with the psychology as well. Not to create that.
This is the 80% psychology stuff we're talking about. And if you're doing that while your account's $1,000, right? So if you're doing that when your account's $1,000, so each time you're doing it's $10, then you're going to get into this mindset of a 1%, 1%, 1%. So then when your account's $1 million, and I say when because this is 100% possible through compounding interest, you're doing $10,000 trades, for example. It's nothing to do with the $10,000. It's to do with it's a 1% trade, right? We're only ever risking 1% of our account because we're going to gain 2 that or 3 times that.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Protocol number 4 is thinking of others ahead, or finding mentors that match your momentum. So the way I like to think about this particular protocol is twofold. One is that there are other people ahead of you that have done well, right, that you can learn from. They've already forged the path ahead of you, so learn from them and, try not to reinvent the wheel. There's the saying of, absorb what is useful, discard what is not, and add what is uniquely your own. Or you could say always be improving. You could also find coaches and resources that meet you where you're at so they can guide you to where they've already been. Right, better optics give you better decision-making power. So if you can, stand on the shoulders of giants and see further out, have a bigger perspective, then that'll obviously help you on your journey to make better decisions and to move faster as well. Likewise, if you keep in mind that putting others ahead of you in the sense of how can you help and serve other people around you, then it will also improve your world, because rising tide raises all ships, or rising tide lifts all boats, as says there. The caveat to that, or the opposing perspective to keep in mind, is also watch out for others ahead of you that are, talking the talk but not walking the walk. Right? There'll be people who have also gone down a particular path and try to sell scams and whatnot. Oh, join, send me your Bitcoin and get 1% per week sent back to you, like secure trades, and it's like, let me lose your money for you. You've got to be wary of that as well. And so having others ahead or others around you that are matching the momentum of your learning, of your improvement and development, will help you in this space. Being around people like Troy and Roscoe and Paul, when you've got a network of people that are like a good sounding board for potential decisions or paths that you want to take, it basically helps you from falling into quicksand or getting unstuck in quicksand.
Long-term vision and long-term goals. So like in your case, Taylor, Ollie is a great person to be around as well, because he's someone that's long-term vision of crypto, long-term goals, and it's this macro vision that will give you wealth in this area. This get rich overnight thing, you might strike something lucky and maybe it might happen, but it happens to such a low percentage of people. Like the stories you hear on the internet, it's a low percentage. If you set yourself on a macro vision and a 5-year goal, there's a very good chance in the crypto space that you could achieve that within 2 years. Yes, there is a very good chance, but if you set it for 5 years, then you are going to be able to achieve those goals. And a point that Kev just said then as well, and I'll even use it and link it to this webinar, right? Kevin and I have been on this webinar. We'll probably spend 4 hours with you guys. Kevin and I, that's 4 hours trading time where, trust us, we could be making a hell of a lot more money trading time, right, than doing a webinar. But what this is great about, and this is the whole vision of this, is that, like what that quote is there, a rising tide lifts all boats. This is about bringing people on, letting them understand and be involved in the community and growing the community. You got to believe in the project and believe in this to be able to do it, right? We've pointed out a lot of great points so far in this webinar covers, being your own bank and decentralization and getting away from corrupt centralized banks and them having their foot to your throat for your whole life and staying in that one spot. This is about setting yourself free and having those visions. So that's my third rant for the day. I might squeeze another one in before we finish, but that's what this is about, right? And I'll mention the word community again. That's what this is about. It's about everyone wins, right? Where the old school mentality is you keep it to yourself. And yes, I'm onto a good thing here. I'm not going to tell anyone. That's not what this is about. This is a new world. This is a new world strategy and a new world focus. And the way that this community, and the reason why so many people in this crypto community are making long-term wealth, is because they're sharing it with other people, and everyone's winning at the same time. So you've got to distance yourself from old world thinking, which is, oh, I'm onto a good thing, I'm going to keep this to myself and not tell anyone. That's not what this community is about. So, happy days. That's how I'll end that speech.
Yeah. Think about it as, if this crypto movement is kind of a silent protest against, banks and institutions and whatnot, right? Because, in our own times, I'm sure everyone's had something to say or rant about a higher authority. But together as a community, if we build it up, then that voice gets louder and louder. You only have to look at what's happening in the US with protests and, everywhere around the world, right? And for that momentum to keep happening, people need to look out for each other. If it's just like, hey, I'm going to squirrel away my earnings in this, I'm going to be a millionaire, ha ha ha, Lambos all around, but screwing other people around, you're just going to fall to the wayside as well. It's like you're joining the other camp, basically, which people are trying to get away from. It's, if you've watched, I'm going on a tangent here, but if you watch The Matrix, say same thing, right? When he wakes up, or Neo wakes up out of the Matrix, it's like a whole new system of reality, which is the actual reality, and they've got the power to change it. But it's not just going to happen by one person, doing it all. Like it needs to be, done by a community. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on from that. Okay, so
we've had our rant.
Protocol number 5. So ride the wave. There's a couple of things around this about, you are never too wise. So being teachable, being able to learn and grow at the same time. We mentioned before, there's winning and learning, right? Even when your losses and failures are there, like you learn from it and you keep moving forward. Or there's the analogy of, getting back up on the bike after you fall. It's not how many times you fall, but how many times you get back up. All that sort of stuff. Reason I like this photo is elephants. Sorry?
It's the best. I love Ninja Turtles. I'm showing how old I am.
Yeah, on the left there, elephants are said to remember things 50 to 60 years in the past. So what that represents for me is like to consume knowledge and to learn, as much as you can about the space, because it is still really, really new. And as daunting as it is to have all this information, like, we've only been on this call for, 3 and a bit hours, but already it's like, holy crap, there's so much to learn, and it can feel overwhelming. But, you look at an elephant and it's like they just, grow over time. They grow huge with all this knowledge. They're huge and powerful, yet they can remain nimble on their feet and are able to move relatively quickly when conditions change. You've seen the stereotypes of like elephants at the circus, or elephants around mice, like they're slow, lumbering creatures, and then you put a mouse in front of them, all of a sudden they're on their toes, and they're just really nimble as well. So they ride the wave, or they go with the trend as well. There's a saying in trading where the trend is your friend, and if things are trending up, then you just ride the wave, even though it might go up and down along that trend. You just keep riding that wave. So yeah, always be learning, be teachable, because you don't know what you don't know. I had to repeat that sentence to myself a couple of times the first time I heard it. It's like, what? You don't know what you don't know. Nobody has all the answers of the silver bullets, so don't let ego get the better of you. Stay humble, stay upright. And kind of like this, I just found this today, this picture of, the Ninja Turtles, and how initially Bitcoin's that, big Master Splinter kind of character, and then all the turtles are babies, but then now we're at this stage as well where all the other little coins, the altcoins, have kind of found their feet, and they're all, you know, assets in their own class that are worthy of being invested in and being followed and have movements of their own and all that sort of thing. And Bitcoin's kind of like starting to even out the keel, I guess. But you know, they've all had to work together. It's not that, like, even though they've been in competition at times and all that sort of thing, they've all still had to work together as a community, as a team, or whatever, in order for cryptocurrency in general to flourish the way it's flourishing. So second last slide, I think we're on. So just some tips moving forward, and you know, to think about for the day. We talked about, you know, building a mental model for understanding the opportunities in crypto. So, you know, try to use that cube or come up with your own thing. Having the right model is the best way to make better decisions. However, there are also many wrong models as the industry is still relatively new. So consider yourself in the 5% because you've taken the time to come here and learn. And, you know, that's already like a huge step in terms of adoption, because yeah, there's still so many more people in the world who aren't even aware of cryptocurrency. So, you know, pat on the back for what you've done. And now that you've stepped in the ring, you know, treat each model or each thing that you come across as a thesis to be tested rather than just like blindly following anything. So, you know, point number 2 is always do your own research and don't chase narratives or hyped up news, you know, fake news, whatever. Take it with a grain of salt and then do your own research. You know, use that mental model to understand the opportunities in crypto relative to your particular situation. So, you know, in your model, you might be like, okay, I'm comfortable with hodling and trading. I'm not really comfortable with yield farming. And then all of a sudden you see on the news, oh, Wi-Fi went from $32 to $40,000. And then you're like, oh, crap, I better jump on that one. And then because you don't have a strategy, you don't have a plan, you don't have a mental model of it, you end up losing, you know, gains that you made in another space. So it's really important not to chase that kind of thing and be disciplined. Yeah, mentioned before, sushi was one of those things. Sushi was a DeFi, you know, token that everyone was following, and then whoever created it ended up basically doing what's similar to like a rug pull scam, where he exited we wouldn't say, well, he exited the company or exited the project basically.
Exited the project, but yeah, and I kind of then everyone lost faith in the project. So
yeah, and it left people with all these bags of sushi coins that were pretty much worthless, all because that, you know, people followed the hype of like what this sushi thing was. They jumped on the sushi train. That joke. Number 3 is know your advantage. So as similar to what we spoke about with the 5%, you know, you're curious, you're here, so you have the advantage. You know, the people who use the system, the people who are active, the doers, the people who are hungry for knowledge. It's not the Wall Street professionals or the Silicon Valley, you know, pros and startups and all that sort of thing. Most of them have missed the best opportunities in crypto, because even though they might have money or resources or whatever, they're only just getting into the scene now because of the rules and regulations that they've also had to adhere to because of, you know, being accredited investors and following the law and blah, blah, blah. Like they're kind of like late to the party, even though they can still sweep a lot. So, you know, the earlier you can get in and learn more for yourself, again, you have the power to be your own bank. Like we can't stress that enough. Yeah. It's a real game changer. Number 4 is maintain a healthy skepticism. So, you know, don't just trust, but verify. So even with the things that we're saying here and you know, the information that we're imparting here, don't be a blind believer just because of our conviction or what we say. Like, do your own research, you know, check it out for yourselves to see what works for you, because crypto is early and the risks are many. So you could end up losing everything you put in, or you could make more than you know what to do with. I know speaking from experience, I've lost, like I said before, thousands of dollars, like blindly following, oh, this is the next trend or this is the next big thing. And I'm like, yeah, cool, I'll put $1,000 on that or whatever. And then, you know, losing out on that and, you know, dragging others with me because I'm like, hey, you should check this thing out. You know, it's the most amazing thing ever. And then, yeah, and then it dies and it's like, oh.
Everyone led each other. And that's what we're talking about. And that's why it's so important to also diversify. So we talked about with that model where we had all those options as well, right? We certainly wouldn't recommend you just solely 100% focus on one thing. You know, make sure you're diversifying and have like a risk strategy as well. Because some things may just sit better with you, and you just understand it more. So it's really important to do that. But these things that we're telling you, this isn't just in the crypto space. There's risks everywhere when you invest in anything. So like what I said, I used the story the other day where people had messaged me after 3 years. It's like, oh, do you know where my Bitcoin's at? Like that I bought like in 2017. It's like, what, you're telling me that you just put down $1,000 or $2,000 and then just didn't do, like literally forgot about it for 3 years, you know? Would you do that if that physical $1,000 was in front of you and you were holding it? Would you just go and put it somewhere, anywhere in your house or maybe in your front yard or whatever, and just leave it there for 3 years and hope it's there when you get back? That's literally what people do. So if you just care just a little bit, care about the money that you invest in something, be an active member and understand what's happening. You don't need to be a complete full-on nerd like me and Kevin, but just understand, or actually like Taylor, she's at home on a Friday night, or just just understand that you know what is happening with that investment, right? Because if you do, then you can capitalize massively in this market. Like I'm talking life-changing money you can make if you just give it a bit of time and a bit of understanding. That's all it is. But like lead that on to point 5. So none of this is all guaranteed, right? So you're making a bet on the future state of the world. But like what we've said before, you know, welcome to the most exciting techno social movement in our lifetime. And this is that, and has been playing that out for the last few years. And it will continue to play that out over the next few years. But align yourself, like when you're on social media, start following some crypto people. If you're on Twitter, like there's a whole heap of crypto Twitter people you can follow, and we'll put out some people as well. I know you asked that question earlier, Cherie. So I'm actually pretty active on Twitter, so I'm happy to share with some people that I follow as well. The smartest minds in the world understand the power of blockchain technology. The smartest minds in the world, you know, own crypto. Like there is a reason why why Bitcoin has gone from 0.003 of a cent to $20,000, right? There is a reason. That just doesn't magically happen because the magic of the internet. There is a reason behind the technology, and there's a reason why these things have happened. So just be an active, you know, just understand where you put your $1,000, if it's $1,000 or $100 or $50. You know, you don't just go sitting that out and lying it anywhere. You know, work with it, and yeah, you can really capitalize on it. I think we've got. Hang on, let me just go on to. Oh yes, we had some homework. That's right.
So for homework, I'd love everyone.
You're going to see how big a nerd you really are, Taylor. You're going to do some homework now on a Friday night.
You don't have to show it to us, but feel free if you do want to. But this is just more for you to, you know, apply what we've gone through now. Just do that simple bucket thing. You know, allocate some funds, whether it's just on paper or in real life, and just think, okay, what do I need now? What do I need soon? What do I need later? How much can I afford to, you know, put towards being an active participant in the crypto space, right? And whatever that number is for you, if you're comfortable enough, use the links that we've provided, and we'll again send maybe a cheat sheet or something like that after this, with all the links, or just jump on my website and click the links there, and you know, open an account, say with crypto.com or Coinbase or Binance. They're really easy ones to get into. Don't worry about the fees or anything like that. For now, it's just like an initial exercise to get something started, right? And then, oh, what happened to the screen?
Yeah, this is what it was doing before. It was going black at times.
Oh, I think I'm running out of memory. That's why.
Too much on there.
So yeah, jump on. Open an account. Cherie went ahead and did some of that this morning or yesterday actually, which is pretty cool. And like, something like coin, before you even deposit any coins, you can go through some of the tutorial videos that they have and get like $10 worth of a particular coin. So then, you know, it's something that can help you get started already. And then also, yeah, find a wallet to transfer some of that crypto into. Like, all of this can be pretty much done in, you know, less than an hour. And so that tomorrow, when we start getting into trading and other forms of, you know, profit generation, you'll at least have that one step forward, and you'll be a, you know, a crypto owner with like minimal risk.
So also, guys, what's awesome about all you guys that have obviously bought a virtual ticket to be here, you will also all be sent. So I didn't get to mention that at the time, but Paul is part of SyncDAO, which is a token. So 27 Australian dollars worth of SyncDAO tokens you guys will receive. So essentially, the course is free because you're going to receive that in tokens when it's released next year. So obviously we'll stay in contact via email and that kind of thing and send that token out to you. So you are going to need to open an account so you can receive that 27 Australian dollars worth next year. But I say next year, it's only like 20 days away, but we're not sure of the exact release date of when it'll happen. We're thinking probably, they're thinking probably like Q2, I believe, next year. So, but yeah, so you are going to need an account, right, to get your free crypto. You're going to need an account to, you know, to dabble around in it. And yeah, but a key way of like understanding that is try and be, you know, as grown up as you can about it. This is something that took me a long time in the crypto space, especially when I was making really quick gains really fast, is that try and be as grown up as you can. So have a now bucket, a soon bucket, and a later bucket. Like, just think, if I'm making this kind of money now, imagine what if I compounded this money, what I could have in 5 years' time or whatever, right? So that's the kind of thing, that the kind of mindset that we really want people to get. And you know, we have a lot of that kind of stuff that we do in that we talk about in our community as well. And tomorrow we will share with you guys some of the community details. If anyone is on Facebook and isn't part of it already, please come and join our community. It's Crypto Collective. Oh, you actually have a link to it on your website, don't you, bro? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, cool. So if you are
2020. There is another Crypto Collective group, which is also run by one of our friends, but he's more on the like strictly trading side, and he's got programs there, but we kind of created groups at the same time. So just be aware. Yeah, ours is the white and bluish kind of color, black, white, and blue. His one's like purple and pink. Good to be part of as well, but they're like strictly, you know, trading with what they do, whereas we're trying to do.
We try and concentrate a lot on the beginner stuff and trading and that as well.
And yeah, if you jump on the like that quick start guide, I think Shuri, that's the one you went on, right, to do your stuff, and it's pretty easy to follow. Like, I don't really delve into the details of who, what, why, where, when, how. It's just I've done it already, so it's kind of like jump on. As you do the process, you'll learn yourself as well. So it's kind of empowering as well, right? Instead of, it's like you're opening your own account and learning the pitfalls. And
depending on, sorry, Kev, go.
Yeah, like, you know, set your expectations already that if you go and buy crypto today, it might go up tomorrow, it might go down tomorrow. Doesn't matter how whatever way it goes, like value-wise. Just remember that if you buy 1 Bitcoin or half a Bitcoin or whatever it is that you get, it's going to remain that amount in your account. So you haven't lost anything or you haven't gained anything in value until you cash out again, which, you know, if you're talking about investment and trading, then you're not going to be looking to cash out like all the time.
Yeah, you're looking at a macro vision. And just to answer your question there, Shuri, I know you put up, make sure to have your driver's license or passport handy. So there are actually sites that you don't need to do that for if you feel uncomfortable in doing that. I know for Binance, for example, you don't need to upload any identification. So I'm not sure about, did you have to do that for Coinbase, was it, or crypto.com? I didn't think you had to do it.
It was a few that I had to do my driver's license front and back and then take a photo. Mama was one.
Right, okay.
Maybe, yeah, there was maybe
there
two.
Yeah,
because I definitely, Oh, BitMEX, yeah, you would need to, yeah. But if you're doing, for example, if you're just using Coinbase and Binance to start with, I know definitely you don't need to. So just so everyone is aware, you can definitely get crypto, trade crypto, and have crypto, without having to, give all your identification and things like that. Pending on the account, pending on the website though. But that's why we always suggest use the ones that we've suggested in our website, because these are all credible sites. So if you were to buy Bitcoin off Binance, for example, I'm pretty sure you do actually need to supply your ID, but at least it's going to be a credible website that we know is proven, as opposed to some other website that you could find on the internet. Please just use the ones that we recommend. You can do what you like, right? But that's just our advice. Use the ones that we recommend. Yeah. Awesome. Well, look, thank you guys. We did go over time. It wasn't as crazy over time as I thought we would, so I actually think we're pretty good there, Kev. Tomorrow, so actually in just over 6 hours time, we're actually going to be doing this same course again. So if you do want to jump on, feel free. If not, totally understand. But we're doing it for our European friends because it's their morning when we do that. So yes, so feel free to do that. Also, tomorrow is going to be awesome. We're really going to, I think tomorrow you guys will really be blown away even more in regards to, especially in regards to empowering yourself and really being able to create and generating real wealth in regards to trading. Trading is something that Kevin and I are very passionate about, and we believe anyone can do and learn, especially the way that it's taught, because it doesn't have to be anywhere near as technical as you think it is, or as you think it might need to be. So that's an area that we're extremely passionate about and believe you can create generational type wealth change in your life. So we're really looking forward to that. So make sure if you are going to go to bed and have some rest or whatever, make sure you get some good rest and be prepared for that and ready for that. Before we do leave though, and I know there's been a heap of information. I know there's a couple more people who are on here as well. Obviously we've only really been talking to the people who have had their camera on, and that's totally fine. But did anyone, like we've got, happy to be on here for another 10 minutes. Did anyone have any questions or any kind of comments about today or anything at all? Even anything that Kevin and I may be able to do better for you in future ones, or for tomorrow, for example, anything better that we may be able to touch on. Do you want to just bring up tomorrow's agenda, Kev, just so people can remember what it is? I think it's just the next slide, or it's in a couple of slides time. But yeah, feel free to unmute yourself if you like, or just drop it in the chat. Yeah, we'd love to really help in any way we can.
Yeah, or if anyone needs help, even with getting set up as well, even off the call, like we're available for that. Yeah. Tomorrow we're going to go through what is trading, how do you get started on the trading side of things, and then we'll do some live trading, or at least show you what it looks like in the back end, and then show you how you can also level up your trading based on the principles and psychology and all that sort of thing we've already covered. So
yeah, you're welcome, Penny. I'm glad you're feeling sharing knowledge. Feel a bit plugged in. Do you mean like mind explosion? Oh yeah, I get what you mean.
A lot.
Cool. Yeah. No, I totally get it. And this is something where we tried to get as much information as we possibly could in a short period of time. So that's why it's so important to obviously record it, and then you guys can kind of watch it back. And like I said before, if you join and be part of the community, if you watch something or have any questions, Kevin and I are very open, and we're always happy to answer people who message us or have questions and put them up in the community. But no, appreciate your comment, Penny. So thank you. And I know that you've just started on your trading journey, and I know that you're very much looking forward to that. So that's awesome. So that's great. Cool. Well, I don't know if anyone else wanted to unmute himself or drop something in the chat. Feel free to do. But yeah, totally get it if you guys are still processing things, because it's obviously been been a bit of a brain dump. But yeah, and likewise, if after we finish the call, if you think, if you guys, if you know, I don't know, if you could explain things slower or anything else, please feel free to give us that. We'd love that feedback, so that way tomorrow we can slow things down or whatever it may be. Will you send the link for the recording? I absolutely will. Yes. As soon as this finishes, we'll get it. We'll download it and we'll send all you guys like a private YouTube link, so then you can watch it whenever you like. Absolutely. Awesome. Well, it seems like everyone's pretty chilled. I think they're probably just downloading the information, so that's all fine. Look, once again, thanks everyone for joining us for day one. Feel free to jump on again if you want to get your mind blown even more for this whole thing again in 6 hours' time. Kev and I are doing it, so that's all good. But yeah, day two will be the same time tomorrow. So wherever you are, tune in at the same time tomorrow, and we'll go through all the same things. Sorry, not the same things. We'll go through all the trading, and we'll try and really help you guys level up and get started, so you can really make some active earnings and everything, and really get things happening. Awesome. Thanks, Sheree.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great Saturday.
Kev's off to have a kip, I think.
Now I've got to prepare the slides for tomorrow.
Oh, there you go. How good that?
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.
Awesome. Ciao, ciao.